Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Thank you for watching and listening wherever you are. We are on podcast platforms throughout the country, on all of them. Please make sure that you find your favorite podcast platform, look up The Right Side with Doug Billings, and subscribe to it. We appreciate it. That would help. If you want to see all of the programs categorized in one place, buzzsprout.com. But we are on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, all of them. We appreciate your subscription to them. And if you want to see the glory, the majesty, the charisma, the passion of the program as it's meant to be seen, go over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel over there, to like the videos that you see. Make a comment. Give me some constructive criticism. Keep it clean and decent and nice. But subscribe to the channel. That will help. When you subscribe to the podcast and to the YouTube channel, you help the shadow banning that conservative talk show hosts are enduring in today's day and age. But welcome again to The Right Side. Doug Billings with you. Happy that you're here. We have noticed here at The Right Side a little-known research company called Kest. K-E-S-K-T. Now, although they are little known, and you've probably never heard of them, they're actually a very big player in the world of research and so forth. What they do, companies will hire them to do public relations work. They'll do tactical communications for them, some market research, audience analysis, and so forth. But now that I'm becoming this intriguing and charismatic and up-and-coming influential associate of the American media, I've been made aware of this particular group. I've got a lot of people who have come forward and told me they use the firm, their company does, and so they've given me some insights to this. One of my contacts on Capitol Hill sent me one of their recent pieces of work that involved research about COVID-19. And so a lot of you, or at least I think many of you who have watched the program, listened to me on the podcast platforms, know that I'm highly interested in the COVID-19 misinformation campaign. And I'm constantly trying to glean truth from fiction and so forth and pass it along to you. So part of the Kest research that was given to me indicates this. This was very interesting, that the majority of Americans in this country, when polled, think that 9% of our population has died from COVID-19. 9% of the population have died from the virus. Now, okay, so ladies and gentlemen, look, I am not good at math. I've learned very early in life that we have to admit what our talents are and where we have none. I, in fourth grade or something, learned that, when you're trying to figure out those damn word problems, if you have a train full of 150 envelopes and it travels 17 miles in 3 days, how long does it take to get 17 envelopes to its destination, provided, of course, that's not a leap year? Those kind of crazy programs. So I was never good at math. I don't claim to be good at math. When I was in college, I had to bribe my college algebra teacher just to get out of it. I'll go to every class. Every tutoring session you have, I'll be there. If I could just get a C minus, please. I got a C minus. Okay, fine. But even a guy like me, a person who's no good at math, when I'm reading a report and I see that the majority of people in our country think that 9% of our country has died from the COVID virus, even I raise my eyebrow and say, what could they possibly mean by that? Sean Connery here. I don't believe that could be quite accurate. I'm not good at math either, Mr. Billings, but even I would know that this is absolutely incredulous. In the days of Sputnik and Yuri Gagarin before us, I've never seen or heard of such an inaccurate possible statistic. Well, Sean's right. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. How and why is what I thought. How and why could so many people in this country believe that 9%, 30 million people, have died from this virus? So you sit back and you think for a while. You drink a cup of coffee in the morning as you're doing your show prep. I can tell you how and why people believe all of this. I can sum it up in 3 words for you. Mainstream media. How about 2 words? Fake news. The media have absolute convulsions of lunacy over this topic, ladies and gentlemen, and sheep follow them everywhere. The media are joy-filled. They're happy. They're enamored. Every report of quote-unquote new cases of COVID, to them become death. New cases equals a new death. Every time a new COVID-19 diagnosis is recorded, a new death is recorded. That's what they want us to believe. That's where they're going. They don't say it in those words, of course. It's all subliminal. Sometimes it's subtextual. But it's always the case. Now, they're going to try to convince you of the lie. I have a friend, a really good friend of mine, my best friend, Zeke Montana, a brother. Zeke, now he's going to crucify me in the public square for mentioning his name, but maybe this whole thing will help him get more followers. So that's my goal for you, Zeke. Try to get you some more followers. Zeke is scared to death of these polls. Like many of us, he reads the poll and he goes, holy crap. Biden's leading Trump by double digits. How can this be? I'm scared to death. Our country's going to hell in a handbasket. They're going to come into power. So I try to remind him and everyone, look, evidence of the obvious is sufficient. Here we go. So you know full well that when the media reports cases of COVID, they manipulate the story, the data, the science, so they can try to fool us into thinking that these new cases of COVID equal new deaths from COVID. It's all done with an evil and a diabolical mixture of truth and lies. Mix in a little conjecture, some false reporting, subliminal suggestions, absence of fact here when it's convenient, refusal to report the good news, and you get what I'm talking about. The unethical and immoral behavior of the media in this country is abhorrent, and it's dangerous. The reporting of the media about this topic kills people. It prevents them from getting news that the white coat doctor spread the other day about hydroxychloroquine. So then, as these so-called new cases of actual deaths become reported, what are we up to now? We are up to 150,000, I think, cases, right? It might not be exactly that, but forgive me, it's in the ballpark. They're saying that 150,000 people have died from this thing. And I'm telling you that those numbers aren't right. They're not right. They are absolutely not right. They have, I was just reading a news item that came over about the new death situation, so I was trying to make sure that I was getting the latest breaking news for you. It's true. And here it is. The whole 150,000, it's a lie. It's misinformation. By now, most of us know this, right? It's misinformation. What we have are inflated numbers. Here's a couple of scenarios for you. You've heard these before, and I'm sure that I'll only have to be brief. A man who has a heart condition his whole life, he has heart disease. He goes into the hospital because he's having heart palpitations, which for him is a red flag. I might be in trouble. I need to go to the doctor. And these days, you go to the hospital and you're tested automatically for COVID. Okay, fine. I can live with that. We should. The guy has the virus. Now, he's asymptomatic. He's never felt sick, except for the heart palpitations. He's never felt sick. He doesn't have any symptoms at all, and he's not contagious. They list him as a COVID-19 hospital admission. Never mind he went there because he's having heart palpitations. And then, sadly, we have the guy who he dies from the heart problem, and the death is listed as a COVID death. You've heard these stories before. The elderly lady who goes in, she's had asthma all of her life. She's 55 years old. She's tested. She's got the virus. She's asymptomatic. Asymptomatic. She has an asthma attack when she's in the hospital. Unfortunately, she passes away. She's had asthma since she was 10 years old. The virus didn't cause her any problems. She was asymptomatic. COVID admission, COVID death. That's how it's done. That's how the game is played. It happens all the time and every day. We all know it. And then we have multiple thousands of news stories coming out with these scenarios. People want to have the test, and we should. We should have the test. Remember in the beginning, there's not enough tests. Trump is failing us. We've done more tests than any two countries on the planet combined. And the tests are going to tell you you've got this virus. Okay, great. The virus that's so deadly, by the way, so utterly deadly and dangerous that the only way that you know you have it is by being tested for it. Let that sink in for a minute. So they have the test, and a lot of them they'll sign up online, and they'll go to their testing site, Walgreens, CVS, a parking lot somewhere at a healthcare center, wherever. But they go there. They've already signed up online. They see the line that they have to wait in. Holy moly, I don't want to wait. That's going to take 3 hours. I don't have the time. So they bail. They don't take the test. A few days later, they get a little notification in the mail. Thanks for signing up for the COVID-19 test. We've got your results, and you're positive. You're COVID-19 positive. Oh, really? They never took the test. Same thing happens when people order the test and it's mailed to their home. I like the people that I've heard this about. They've done a little covert investigating on the entire matter, and what they've done is they'll get the test in the mail. They'll open up, the bioprotective envelope, and they'll take the swab out, put it back in the container without testing themselves. They'll mail it back. A few days later, test results. Hey, you're positive for COVID-19. You think I'm kidding? Thousands of times this has happened in Florida, Houston, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada. Happens everywhere. So don't tell me 150,000 people. I was associated with people that did analysis on death certificates from January through June when the primary cause of death is COVID-19. Take a guess. How many? 10 to 15,000 people dead of COVID-19 when it's the primary cause. There's no way 150,000 people have died purely from COVID. Most of them, the vast majority, died from their pre-existing medical conditions. Now look, people go, well, just wait till it happens to somebody you've loved. Just wait till it happens to somebody you care about. Okay, well, here, guess what? I've had it. I've got the antibody. I haven't been sick since 2018. I'm one of the majority. You get it? You don't even know it, and you're over it. It will affect elderly and the medically fragile. There's nothing new there, ladies and gentlemen. The flu does the same damn thing. Well, it's time that we all understand the polls. It's time that you understand that these polls are not meant to give you the truth. But if you hear that most Americans believe that 30 million people have died from this thing, you really can't blame them for cowering, for being frightened, for wearing these masks that don't do a damn thing, locking themselves down at home and hiding away in fear and frenzy. It's no wonder that these sheep don't want to go back to work or send their kids to school. If I'm honest, I can't blame them because they believe that 30 million people have died. Hell, if I believed 30 million people have died, I wouldn't want to go back to work either. The difference, though, between us and them, ladies and gentlemen, between us and the sheep, is that we look into the matter. We don't take the mainstream media at their word. We watch. We listen. We take note of groups like the white coat doctors who gave a brilliant, powerful, truthful speech and press conference on the steps of the Supreme Court. And because it was powerful, truthful, factual, and scientific, the mainstream social media giants, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Google, they shut it down, censored it, so we can't see it. People all over the world are buying into the myth of the misinformation campaign about the virus, and they believe that millions of people have died from this thing too. So we have a responsibility to be truthful and share the good news and the truth. Look, Zeke, my friend and my brother, polls are taken in today's day and age. They're not intended to report on the results of the American opinion. They're designed and manipulated to change American opinion. And there's a big difference there, my brother. We have to remember that the vast majority of people in this country won't participate in polls. Or they won't offer up their real, truthful political opinion if they do. There are lots of reasons for it, but in today's world, here in the world of COVID and all of this, the primary reason that they don't speak up is for fear of retaliation. Republican conservatives don't put a Trump bumper sticker on their car because they're afraid the mob will throw a rock through their car, set it on fire, and drag you out and beat you to death. Republican conservatives don't put yard signs on their front lawn because they're afraid their front windows will be sprayed with bullets, like in Chicago. Now, I know there's some brave Republicans out there who do it, and I love it when I see it. They'll wear their hats, they'll wear their pins and their buttons and their Trump support mechanisms. I get it, and I like it, but the vast majority don't. And that's why these polls are inaccurate, my friends. They haven't captured the opinions of the majority of the Americans. The only poll that matters, and you know it, is the election poll. So it's up to us, really. It's up to us to share programs like this one, the ones who dare to tell the truth and who do our part to put light on the truth. I mean, why do you think this program has captured the imaginations and the attention of Americans throughout the world, wherever they may be? The glory, the majesty, the charisma of this truth-filled half hour it's irresistible precisely because of its truth. Being part of the truth and the light of the world is one thing that the right side does, our side. It's what this program does. It's why we're being noticed and recognized as a leader in the contemporary social and political commentary world, as a spotlight for the truth. Much of the reason for this is, of course, because you and me, we believe in divine providence. We believe in the enlightenment of God and his guidance within our republic. We get it. We understand that. We're the party of God and his providential inspiration of the founding fathers and the framing of our republic. We're the side that supports prayer, life, and the role of both prayer and life within our government. We know that through the thoughtful reflection of meditation and prayer, we begin to transform, first of all, ourselves, but then others, and then our republic, into the messengers of his word and of his will, God's will. And once we're transformed into that, we can begin to transform the American republic. We can begin to be the transformative power that this republic needs, ladies and gentlemen. None of us is perfect. I got news for you. I mean, if God were to come down today and tell us to form a line according to who's made mistakes in this life, I would be the first person in that line. In the same way, none of our founding fathers were perfect. The Declaration of Independence and our American Constitution, do you know what they were? They are vision statements. They're vision statements written by imperfect men who had a perfect vision for our republic. But just because they themselves as human beings weren't perfect is no reason to destroy and discredit the vision that they put forth for our republic. It's why, you guys, it's why the illogical tumbling of statues is just so intellectually immature. None of the statues represent perfect men. The only statues that I've seen that have been defiled and tumbled of perfect people are the statues of Jesus and his mother Mary. But it's simply illogical to pull down statues of people who played a role in the country's founding, its transformation, its evolution, and the shaping of our republic. So again, it's up to us to share the good news, to share podcasts like this, programs like this, to do our part, to be part of the truth, to stop the misinformation campaign, despite the censorship. The new Democratic Socialist Party and those who support it are part of the darkness, my friends. part of the darkness. Mob mentality, the burning of America, rape, murder, rioting, looting, arson, and anarchy. To this day, not one of the members of the New Democratic Socialist Party have stepped up to condemn that violence, whether it's in Portland, Seattle, Minnesota, Minneapolis, or Kansas City. In fact, they encourage it by saying things like, well, these people are just wives, teachers, and students and civic leaders, like Jerry Nadler did at that ridiculous hearing with William Barr. And it wasn't ridiculous because of William Barr. Nadler said that. Well, I'll concede the mob is made up of teachers and students and wives and husbands and civic leaders. But by virtue of their actions, I don't care. They are the mob. And they're pushing forth an agenda that has one ultimate goal: to divorce themselves from the American Republic. Then they want to tear it down and rebuild it as a socialist, Marxist republic or government. The power of the right side, the side that we are on, the power of divine providence and the continual reflection in prayer and praise to God is on the Republican side. And we understand that not everybody gets a trophy. Not everyone wins. We understand that we have to see everything that comes our way as a gift. And yes, the challenges, the trials, the adversity, the tragedies, but also the wonder, the joy, and the achievements and the accomplishments that we see in this world. When we see it all as a gift, we become grateful. And grateful people are the happiest people on this planet. People who believe in the New Democratic Socialist Party aren't wired like this. And that's why they look so unhappy. That's why they look so grumpy. Look at Jerry Nadler. Look at Nancy Pelosi. Look at Chuck Schumer. Do you think those are happy people? We're the side who won't bully, but we will help. We're the side who won't riot. We're the side who will reason. We're the side who won't burn. We will build. We're the side who won't squelch or censor opinions, but we want to welcome dialogue. We're the side who condemns violence, not encourages it by remaining silent. We are the side who knows that an open economy saves lives and that an erect economy kills people. We are the side that knows COVID-19 is manageable, not something to be used politically. We're the side that believes in life, not abortion. We're the side who believes we stand in the shadow and the protection of God himself, not the entitlements of a government who would otherwise create modern slavery by the dependency upon entitlements. We are the side that believes in prayer, not riots. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the right side. Hi, everybody. This is Doug Billings from The Right Side. Thanks for watching and listening every day on our podcast. We appreciate it. I want to say a special shout out to a friend of the show. He goes by the name of Commander's Artist, the Commander's Artist. On Twitter, you can find him at TheRealMadDog58, ladies and gentlemen. That's at TheRealMadDog58. His website, www.thecommandersartist.com. www.thecommandersartist.com. He's created the brand new logo that we use in front and in back of every episode of The Right Side with Doug Billings. You can see it, ironically enough, right over my right shoulder here on the back wall here in the studio. The Right Side with Doug Billings. Also, right next to that one, that beautiful portrait of President Trump. Isn't that a beauty? That one's called Behold My Chosen Leader. The artwork is phenomenal. His patriotism is outstanding. The Commander's Artist, a friend of the show. We're going to give him a shout out. You need to follow him. Go to the website, thecommandersartist.com. Check it out. You'll want to order something for yourself today. He's phenomenal, a great friend of the show. Commander's Artist, cheers, and thank you very much for everything you've done for us here on the right side. God bless, and God bless America. Thanks, everybody. Good night.